What's up, everyone? Christian Duke from StrengthAddicts.com back here with IFBB Pro Jeff Willett at Jeff Willett's Powerhouse Gym in Adrian, Michigan. Jeff, how's it going?
Great. Good to see you. Welcome back.
Likewise, thank you. Yeah, it's been 3 years, and I came back. The snow's killing me out there. Got to go to the Arnold after this. But, the reason we're doing this interview is because after 11 years, unfortunately, this great gym is going to close its doors on Saturday, March 5th.
That's right.
And I really want the viewers at home to understand all the great many things that you did during the time these doors were open. And before we delve into that, let's talk a little bit about your career in the NPC,
Sure.
how you turned pro, and why you decided to open this gym.
Sure. Well, in a kind of a retrospective nutshell thing, I was a competitor for 13 years. I started at around 16. First show was at 17. Had the goal of becoming an IFBB professional, so I worked my way up the ladder. I did several NPC shows here in the state of Michigan. Then ultimately I got qualified to compete at national level, and then I started entering the Team Universe, and I've won 3 different class championships at the Team Universe, and most notably in 2003 I won the overall, and that's how I earned my pro card. But also in 2003 though, which was really my best year ever, I took 4th place at the NPC USA's in a super duper competitive class. So I'm very proud of that. In fact, that's probably my biggest competitive achievement. In fact, there's the trophy
That's awesome.
for that one right there. But so yeah, I'm really proud of my career. I had a lot of good experiences. I've competed with some top-notch guys, and I'm very, very proud of what I've done.
And you did everything as a drug-free athlete, which is amazing.
Right. That's true.
So, once you win that coveted Team Universe, which again, the Team Universe to me is a huge show because you're competing for a spot on the American team. You're
right.
representing the United States against the world. You come back to Adrian, Michigan, which is where you grew up and had family, and you decide to open this amazing facility. It's like 4 levels. It's right on Main Street, in the heart of downtown. Talk to us about your choice for this property and really what were you thinking about? And I don't mean that like what were you thinking, but what were you thinking about opening a gym in the 2000s?
Well, the way it kind of happened was when I was preparing for that 2003 contest, I really felt deep in my heart like I didn't know that I had any more to give. It was so many years, so much devoted into earning that pro card, and so much sacrifice. I just really felt in my heart like 2003 was a year either win or was going to be over.
Make or break, yeah.
Yeah, and thankfully I executed, I won, but I really knew in my heart that night that I was not going to compete again. Well, time passed, kind of felt lost. Well, what do I do next? Well, how about I go open a gym? And at the time I lived in Colorado. I worked for AST Sports Science, and I really wanted to get back to this part of the country, as you mentioned, families from here, and just felt like I wanted to be in this spot. So I thought, well, hey, pro bodybuilder, education is an exercise science. Let me go open a gym. So I decided to move to Adrian. It was really more of an emotional decision than like a business decision. Because if I was sitting down and saying, well, I want to go, put this gym where I get the best chance to make money, I would have not chose Adrian, Michigan. Just from demographics, it would have made more sense to be in a more populous area.
Sure.
But I didn't. I came here. I had grand design and design ideas of what I wanted to deliver. Having essentially grown up in gyms and worked in gyms through college and high school, I had an idea of what I wanted to do. Many gyms in Adrian while I was growing up, and had come and gone, started and failed, all small privately owned ones. So I felt like I learned a lot from them on what I would do and what I wouldn't do. So I moved back, and I found this great downtown property was for sale. At the time, it was sitting vacant. Mm-hmm. Needed a lot of work, a lot of elbow grease inside and outside, but in any event, it does have 3 levels. It's 14,000 square feet, not counting the basement. We use all 3 levels. They're really unique. They're open mezzanines. What's interesting is this building was famously known for being a J.C. Penney's.
Oh yeah, you told me that some years ago.
Yeah, back in the 1900s up to about in the mid 1950s. So that was really what it's known for. But anyway, 2004. Got the property, did the renovations, demolitions, put a lot of money, a lot of time into renovating it. It took a span of 6 months to do so. We opened up on December the 5th of 2004, and then 11 years later, we're here.
And that's fantastic. It's a fantastic gym. You have seminars here, like great state-of-the-art equipment. You actually been voted a couple times the best gym in the county.
Yeah.
So again, it's just phenomenal. But what would you say though is like wrong with the gym business when you've got a natural IFBB pro, which first of all, I don't know how many natural pros there are, but that are in the magazines, in the videos that people know. There's you, there's Skip LaCour, maybe 1 or 2 more. There's not a lot. So you come back to your hometown, you open a gym like this, with the curbside appeal that this has. I mean, this is on Main Street. You know, when people say Main Street, I mean, that's like the heart of downtown.
Yeah.
Why didn't it work out?
Well, you know, the thing is, it's a great question, you know, and one that, you know, is kind of logical to ask, because you think I've checked all the boxes you'd think of what would make a great facility, and I've really tried to deliver that over the last 11 years. But, you know, what I've learned, you know, you learn a lot. I learned a lot in business over the last 11 years, and, you know, every place is subject to the laws of the market that you're in. You know, when you have a brick and mortar establishment, it narrows it down. In a gym specifically, you probably have about a 12 or 15 mile radius that you can market to reasonably. Mm-hmm. That's about the length that someone's going to drive to have, you know, to purchase a membership. Well, the industry's changed a lot in this time as well. So I come back, and my emphasis was really on atmosphere and design and layout, cleanliness, incredibly clean, well racked. I'm here all the time. We've started with a culture of, again, being clean and courteous and all these things. Delivery of service. So when I came back, my thing, and really for 11 years, has been more about the delivery of service and not as much about, you know, sales, honestly, but more delivery of service, thinking that if you build something great, they will come, they will tell others. My emphasis is really that. Well, what's happened with the gym business, you know, as a whole, in a sense, the proliferation of more lower cost options, more like 24-hour and tanning options, that's kind of the new model, or is evolved into the model. So over the 11 years, more and more places have popped up in my little radius. And specifically the last probably 3 years, gosh, Christian, we have probably, this is a town of about 20,000 people, and I mean, we have probably 9 different places you could go buy a membership to, of varying types of fitness places. You know, that's a lot. And a lot of them have come in. We're not a high price gym. In fact, I mean, we're $39 a month, and I've been $39 a month since we've opened, never raised the price, although all operating expenses have gone up. But these other ones are coming in and they're much lower price than us. Now they're a very different model, very different delivery, but still a lower cost. So if as a consumer, if it ends up being a market that's more price driven, which I think this is, I mean, the facts kind of bear that out. If it's a more price driven market, they're going to go more for the price. Well, we're a value proposition service. We're a value added service. So we sell based on value added. So in other words, like when you come in, you can, you know, I'm here at minimum 5 days a week, and I've been here 7 days a week for months because we've had to do some things with staff. But in any event, you know, taking questions from people. People can come in, members could come in and ask me any type of questions they want.
That's free. You don't charge for that.
No, that was part of the benefit of being here, I felt. I'm spotting people if they need it. I'm out there making juice bar drinks. I mean, there's a unique environment that you get here. And we add value. When members would come, they'd get a free, you know, a free personal training visit. They would get a, you know, ask the expert night, things we do to add value to that $39. But still, if someone's just a strictly more of a value add or more of a cost-driven customer, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. You know, so many gyms, you know, brick and mortar gyms like this one, you can't compete. You have Planet Fitness come in with $9.95 a month memberships. You can't compete. But what it has to be said between the lines is that you've got the quality equipment. They don't. I mean, I can't tell you. I've been into Planet Fitness. My girlfriend goes there. And I hate to say it, and I've been in there, and I do a shoulder machine or a back machine, and I'm hurting afterwards. Not the kind of hurt like, you know, the pump, but the hurt because the machine is built like crap. You know what I mean? You can almost blow on it, it'll knock it over. It's just really crappy material. But people just don't value good equipment. To have an IFBB legend that's the owner, and you know, and actually, you know, for you to say that in 11 years you've never raised the rates when all the other operations, you know, are going through the roof, it's insane. Now, one thing about you that I like and that, you know, that I know because we're friends, is that when you started this place, you could have had an operations manager, you know, so someone doesn't show up, they'll work the shift. The toilet breaks down, they'll fix it. You know what I mean? You get them mop the floor, but you do all that. You don't have an operations manager, and your office is literally right next to the front desk. So it's not like you're like behind, you know, a bunch of different hallways hiding from the customers or the members. So, and even during this interview, we've had to do a couple of takes because people are, you know, want to say goodbye and say hello or whatever, and you put them first, which is how it should be. A lot of gyms will be like, you know, put a sign out in the door and, you know, members can go to hell basically, but you don't do that, and you're not doing it until the last days of the gym. So how I just can't get over, you know, like you said, it's basically a town of 20,000 with 9 gyms. You know, did you see this into? I mean, what when you open your doors? I know I hate to ask these questions because I know that, you know, the gym is closing down and all that, but I just really want to understand, like, how has the market changed? Because I feel like it's really changed in the last 5 or 10 years with these Planet Fitnesses and all these other type of places springing up.
I think it has. It's changed. There's a different expectation. Like I said, depending upon, like for me again, it's been about the delivery of service and the quality of the environment. But I'm finding that less and less people care as much about that as much as they want. They want 24 hours.
Right.
They like tanning to be involved, and they like it cheap. And I'm finding that, I think the expectation is more like, let's face it, like Planet Fitness is a real juggernaut as far as like their advertising budget.
Well, that's another thing, yeah. I mean, how can you compete with? They're everywhere, right? Magazines, newspapers, everywhere.
They're everywhere. So people in their minds, they're hearing that $9.95 or whatever. And so if the average person who's just looking to go join a gym and they've been hearing $9, then they come and they hear $39, that sounds like, wow, that's so expensive to go there. So unless they know the value, they're looking at that.
And I think when people say that, they see $9.99 versus $39, they feel like, oh, I'm getting ripped off and this and that. I think people realize how honest you are, but take it one step further. We were talking earlier about, the fact that you are closing down, and you were talking about PIFs, paid in fulls and all that. You actually gave your members 60 days notice, which is unheard of in the gym market.
Pretty unusual. Yeah, we gave a 60-day notice. I had a goal of no one was going to lose a day or lose a dollar. And tried to execute that as best I could,
And I think again, it goes to show, because you live here, you're married, you have a child, you were raised here, your parents are here. This is like home to you, and you've really bent over backwards to present the value, at a very good price. One thing that I will say, Michigan having so many shows, and so many competitors, and so much interest in bodybuilding and fitness. I almost feel like I know the answer to this question, but I still want to ask, because I didn't really tell you I was going to ask you, but I want to ask you, did you have a lot of competitors come in here, like try to pick your brain, or, especially a lot of natty competitors, because there are a lot of them. We have natural shows in Michigan, more than one or two. Did you have a lot of interaction with the competitors?
What's really odd? Not nearly as much as you'd probably think. Mm-hmm. And I thought when I, came back and conceptualized it and opened it, that'd be like the slam dunk. That's going to be your big thing. But there's we really haven't. We've had a handful. And some people that I've worked with and members that have competed, but I know there are people around here that compete in shows because I see it, but they're not members here for whatever reason.
I can't figure that out.
I found, you'd think. Logic says if you'd go to a place owned by,
a natural IFBB. How many of those, right? Like you and Skip, and that's it.
Right. So I never could really get an answer for that. I don't really know why, but no, there's not nearly as many as you would think.
Right.
In fact, that's a stigma that we fought for 11 years. People think Powerhouse gym owned by a pro bodybuilder that it's just all these big muscle head guys in there, and that's actually hurt us in this town. We've had to fight that, because it's kept certain people away. And you've had the opportunity. You've been to a
couple. I was to a seminar that you and Stuart did that filmed, and you did it, and before I say that, just real quick, there are quite a number of natural IFBB pros, but again, on the level that you and Skip and Derek Farnsworth, like that level being recognized, there are very, very few. But as far as what you were saying, no, and at your seminars, there was a very good cross-section of the population. There were, I guess what you call soccer moms, there were meatheads, there were people that wanted to make the transformation.
Yeah.
Again, because the DVD is called...
Yeah, Body Transformation Seminar.
Right, and it's all about that. I want to look like that guy, you know what I mean? And it's all about that. And in the seminar, I remember you talked about very... attainable goals. You talked about simple things as going from eating French fries to broccoli. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And sensible choices to eat out and how important meal prep was. Really, really important stuff. You know what I mean? And I really felt like people were really getting something out of it. You know what I mean? And so to me, it's just I can't make sense out of it. But the only exception, though, unfortunately, Jeff, is that there's a lot of these internet experts nowadays. You know what I mean? People that'll do like a level 1 show, or may not even do a show. They might just do an 8-week transformation. Who knows what they're taking, but they have a before and after picture, and now suddenly they're out, giving out advice.
Right.
And I just don't know if people realize, okay, so this guy's got 1 million followers on YouTube and he's a big internet sensation, but he doesn't know if he's on foot or horseback, and here you are, a top legend. So maybe talk to us a little bit about your take on these sort of internet experts, and also talk to us about your premium site.
Yeah, well, I think that's been a big change too over the course of time. With social media and all that stuff, anybody can be a so-called expert. So I think that people and people coming up that they're out there trying to learn from that, so they're not really taking the value of, hey, of this guy in here, in my case, you know, a 13-year career and an education, a bachelor's degree in exercise science, and everything I've applied to my 20 plus years now of, you know, being involved in this and working out. But instantly they can go to someone that's more like popular, maybe more flashy, or they think it's, you know, the new in thing.
Exactly.
You know, it's the more popular thing, but they can have access to that right away. So I think that devalues maybe what, in their mind, what they could get from, say, me here. But what's different is, like on my premium site, jeffwillettpremium.com, that's the game changer, because then I can reach people way beyond this 12-mile radius we talk about.
Sure.
So then I'm out there in my global audience offering my experience, everything I've learned to help these people make their transformation. So, you know, it's like good and bad. It's good in the sense it gives also me a vehicle to go reach people, but it's bad because there's no test for really credentials.
Right, which is unfortunate. You know, that is sort of the bane of the internet. I mean, it's, you know, it is the information superhighway and all these great things, but again, you could get someone that, you know, and the other thing too, some of these internet experts aren't even cheap. They're really expensive. Yeah. And at the end of the journey, you don't win the show. You don't make a good transformation. You might even have metabolic damage for all you know. You know what I mean? So unfortunately, you know, you kind of take your risks with those people. But here you are, and hopefully people watching this will go to your premium site. Now, talk to us about the kind of business you're doing around the world, some of the countries that really come to mind. And it seems like something that I read a lot about in Flex magazine and a lot of the bodybuilding magazines is that in Europe especially, bodybuilding it's not even just Europe, Asia, South America. Bodybuilding is seen, it's given the respect, I would say, that baseball, football, basketball are given here. True. So talk to us a little bit about the countries where you're doing business, and what are the fans like there? What are your interactions with those fans have been like?
Well, yeah, the neat thing about it is there's definitely an international interest, and what's exciting is through my premium website, jeffwillettpremium.com, and my other informational materials, like I have clients and customers all over the world. And we particularly like, you know, a couple of things that come to mind, like the UK and Australia, do a lot of, you know, business with them, but really other European countries and Asian countries, really everywhere. And that's so exciting to know that people there want the message, they appreciate the message, and I can reach that many people and help that many people. So that's really exciting to me, and again, an advantage of focusing on that part of the business, because that's been going on all the while the gym's been going, and that's been keeping a pulse here, to be honest with you, you know.
Absolutely.
But now with the operations that will be shut down, you know, I can put more emphasis on delivering the message and helping more people. And other great thing is, like I use Skype a lot with my coaching clients, so we can have a face-to-face conversation anywhere where we can get the internet.
And you do coaching, right? I mean, your nutrition, your training, it's all encompassing. You teach them, right? The ABCs, like you've told me before.
Exactly. Yeah, what I like to do is I like to teach them how to fish. I like to use the principles that I've honed in and developed over all these years, the training, the nutrition, cardio, and I really term it like, you know, the A, B, and C, and I teach them why they're doing it, though, not just putting it in front of them, but I teach them why to do that, why they're doing it that way. I set them up, and I got people from just transformation people to people who want to compete, but actually the competitor is not the biggest amount of people that I help. It's changing your body, doing that body composition change.
Yeah, absolutely. And the more you talk, the more I keep thinking about your seminars, just that cross section of people. And again, you know, not to, you know, go backwards or forward, but this gym was always about, from what I gather, that cross section. You know, Planet Fitnesses have these stupid commercials with the lung head and the meat head, and I lift it up, whatever they say, and nothing could be farther from the truth of this facility. I think anybody that came in here felt comfortable. So, I mean, there's just so many. This gym dispels so many different stigmas that are applied to a gym started by a bodybuilder that, I mean, there's so many to count that we'd be here all day. So again, I really, as we sort of wrap up the interview though, I really want to ask you about your staff. You've had a lot of staff, but you've had some that I think you said have been with you from the beginning. So if you'd like to sort of give them some recognition, that'd be great.
I think it's pretty unique. I've had two ladies, Vicky Cruz and Kathy Willett, who have been with me all 11 years. They actually were here before I opened the door, or did some of the work, and then are with me today and will be here Saturday. So I think that's, and I've had tons of other wonderful people, but just wanted to recognize them specifically because all 11 years, I think for a small business, I think that's pretty tremendous. And my parents, oh my God, well, all the stuff they've done for me, I can't even begin to thank them. So, and my wife and my new son have been here and helping be supportive and understanding during this very difficult last several months.
Yeah, and I can tell. I mean, your heart is here, and I can tell, like, you know, just coming here the few times that I did, you know, and again, you know, I don't want to, you know, end on a sour note or anything like that, but honestly, I think a lot of competitors in the state really should really kind of slap themselves in the face, because, you know, when we did the first interview 3 years ago, I was living in Lansing, and it wasn't that long of a drive, and from Ann Arbor, this is not a long drive at all. From Jackson or even Detroit, this is not a long drive, and you know, there's so many people that have a bucket list of places they want to go, and for a lot of people, this gym was one of them. Just like, you know, Gold's Venice, just like Stephen Bev's in New York, even the Powerhouse in Highland Park, the original one. And it's just very upsetting, you know, honestly, with the wealth of knowledge that you have and how, you know, readily available it was here, that very, very few competitors took advantage of that. So I really think that, you know, they really should. You know, I don't know what to tell those people, and I don't want to end on a negative, but I just think, you know, this is the kind of gym that is fighting the, you know, the mass gyms and then the cheap gyms and the junk, and, you know, again, I don't want to end on, so let me just get off that. Just to wrap up, you know, talk to us about your upcoming projects. I know you're working on sequels. I know you work a lot with Stuart McDonald, just phenomenal videographer. Talk to us about that. Of course, your premium site again. You also have I guess a regular website.
Yes.
And you've got a clothing line. And branding has always been huge with you. So talk to us about that, please.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because, like I said, that's becoming going to be my primary focus. People say, well, what are you going to do now that the gym is going to be no longer? Well, it's going to be really 100% of my focus on my online stuff, which is my premium website, jeffwillettpremium.com, and that's my vehicle for delivering my information. Because the DVD, it's, you know, more expensive and harder to ship things and costly, especially for foreign customers. You know, digital delivery is great. Well, the premium site allows me to deliver a lot of digital content, so they subscribe and they get access to all this content, both video and,
ebooks,
nutrition plans and all that stuff. But that's where also we're delivering the I Want to Look Like That Guide, the sequel, which is really unique. A lot of people know me or have come to me from that original documentary, which was featured at the Arnold Classic Film Festival and on and on. Well, Stuart came to me about 20 weeks ago, and he was in worse shape than ever before, even then, so we've started the sequel. Well, we've been delivering that in weekly episodes. Okay. And so a subscriber can join, and they can get a subscription that's only to watch those, and we're 20 weeks into it, and when we're done, that's going to be edited into one digital
piece, like finished product.
But right now, they're seeing everything like 24, by the time it's done, 25 hours of raw as it's happening. It's really cool stuff. Really proud of that. I do the coaching. Again, I have a lot of international customers, and that's growing. So now that, as we talked about earlier, I mean, owning and operating a small business, oh my God, it's so challenging, and more than I really anticipated, because you just don't think of everything that you have to do. And then, you know, you have to do, at least I'm going to speak about my case. I had to do so many things myself because you can't afford certain other payroll things, so you end up doing more and more yourself. Well, I've been doing all that while doing the online stuff as well, and the online stuff lately has been growing, the premium website for sure. Well, now that those other responsibilities of the gym will be toning down, I think it makes sense that if I can, you know, emphasize even more on the online stuff, I can build that into quite a very helpful and great enterprise. So that's going to really, you know, taking my focus, and I can serve more people. I want to do work that matters, and I'm going to be able to reach more people through my global audience than I could from behind this desk here at the gym. I mean, I had noble intentions. I think I've delivered on my promise. I think I brought my vision to life, and I think for 11 years we delivered on that. Now, we just couldn't get enough people in this radius that wanted to come be part of that. And in business, if you don't, and especially a gym, members are your lifeblood. If you don't have members, you can't run. You don't have members, you can't be open. We didn't have enough members to keep going. So now, again, the emphasis will shift to people who want to hear my message, and I can reach many, many more people like that. So although this is difficult, but I am excited about the next step in the transition, because I think I can make that something great and reach and help a lot of people at the same time.
Absolutely, and you said it perfectly. And everything about you, everything that I've read about you, everything I know about you is about wanting to help other people. And I know that, I'm guessing for at least a little while, you probably kept this thing afloat just, you know, because you wanted to do that. You know, again, I don't want to make another interview question out of it, but a lot of people, and you can answer, you know, weigh in on this too, because I really, a lot of people think, you know, they hear the word profit and they don't associate that with the gym business. You know, they think breaking even is being successful. Breaking even is not successful. You know what I mean? It just means you didn't lose anything, but you didn't get anything either. You know what I mean? So I just really think that, you know, I think you really, you know, wear your heart on your sleeve. You really care about the people. And I think that your members here, your hardcore members, would do anything for you. The problem is that you need more people to join. And you know, unfortunately, you know, with 10 other gyms, you know, in a 15-mile radius, it's like nearly impossible.
Yeah.
Even though here they've got it made, and they just didn't take advantage of it. You know what I mean? So, again, I really, really appreciate you taking the time. And
I appreciate you. I mean, you've been driving all over just to...
Well, I drove 6 hours for this, but
yeah.
It was a drop in the bucket. It was totally worth it. And again, I really think that, you know, again, I don't want to end on a sour note, but, you know, when people say, you know, those were the good old days, I mean, I just really think that people had a great thing here, and they didn't take advantage of it. And hopefully now, though, you know, your various businesses online, I really do agree with you. I think, honestly, you're going to be able to reach so many more people. And people around the world really respect what you did. They respect the sport of bodybuilding, especially respect natural bodybuilding. And, you know, they're going to patronize you. They're going to do business with you. And they're going to want to listen to what you have to say. And they're going to pay for it. And gladly. Because there's just so much misinformation out there and so many people that really don't know anything. And they're just making a killing. So, again, thank you very much for natural IFBB pro legend Jeff Willett, Christian Duke, at Jeff Willett's Powerhouse Gym in Adrian, Michigan.